Welcome to part 3 of the keynote conversation between actor-director Sheila McCarthy and me, Scott Walker, from Maintaining Creativity for Inspiration, which took place on October 16, 2019 in Toronto.
A lot of you know I was married to Peter Donaldson for 28 years.
Astonishing actor.
Yes, yeah. He was also my great leveler. I'd come home from LA and he'd go, "Really? Can you get your head through the door, Sheila? Really?" Yeah. But, a few minutes ago I was talking about when you feel a lack of inspiration in your life and what do you do? And this was the most surprising source of inspiration I think I've ever had in my life. Pete was diagnosed with lung cancer about 10 years ago, and we lived through his lung cancer for 2 years until he died. And it was the most inspiring time of my life as a person, not necessarily as an artist, but as a human being, because I don't think I've ever lived so clearly in the moment. And I try to remember that now when, sometimes, I don't know, the lights seemed brighter, the colors seemed brighter, everything seemed more important in the moment while we went through his journey with lung cancer. And we never talked about it. He said, "Cheryl, we're not gonna get sad twice." And so when he died, we were surprised. It was a shock. But I think back to those 2 years of my life, and they were the most clear I've ever been in terms of, and I watched him inspiring people. And he was a curmudgeon. Like you guys know, people were afraid of him. He turned into this really nice person when he got lung cancer. My family, my sister Molly, who, oh my God, takes a page from my father, said, "We never really liked Pete until he got cancer." And I went, "What?" Because he was inspired to be a warmer, kinder person. And he was nice to everybody. And wow, isn't that weird?
You're one of the CSARN mentors. Your mentorship is just drawing to a close. In fact, your final report's overdue. Didn't want to say anything.
I sent it.
Hey, no pressure.
Uh-oh, I didn't do my homework. Oh, okay.
But I just wanted to use that to lead into, how do you inspire others, the next generations? We're going to be talking more about that in a few minutes, and I'd hope your mentor or your mentee was going to be here, but she works more than any of us.
She works more than I do, so
yeah?
I know. We kept having to sort of delay the mentorship. Well, I loved mentoring Sarah Obrecht, and you're going to hear her name. She's really something. She's a triple threat. And our last project is a little short film that she wrote, which was incredible. And she's half Filipino and half Caucasian. So she wrote a little short film about being a mom, because she's got red hair and brown eyes. She's quite pale, and her mom was always mistaken for her nanny her whole life. So she wrote a little film about being a mummy, a yummy mummy, dropping her kid off at school, and then we hired this lovely Filipino actress, and Sarah says to her, "Oh, what are your rates? I'd love to hire you. You're so good with your ward." And of course, anyway, it was just perfect. Anyway, mentoring her, honestly, and I know there's lots of people who teach who are here, you get more out of it than you give. I've been teaching a film class in comedy at Humber for a couple of years, and out at Sheridan, and the students inspire me. So, and the only reason I started teaching was I just wasn't busy enough. I wanted to be doing more, and I thought, well, I'm not going to clean houses, but I could teach. So I started teaching, and then that's how the mentorship came about. And I really, I think I've been lucky enough to do what I do for 50 years now. So maybe that's inspiring, that it's possible. It's possible not to be the prettiest girl in the room and to have a career. It's possible to do anything you want if you don't let your nerves to walk into that audition room. And I still do it. That never ends. You're still proving yourself. You're still trying to come up with what will inspire me today to get it right, or to do it, to get the part. That never ends, and it's not for the faint of heart, I would say. So when I'm mentoring, I like to talk a lot about the fact that it's not really a career, it's a way of life that we do, and you'll spend most of your time not working. That's the fact.
Hear that?
Yeah.
True that. I know you have to go. You've got a studio gig coming up. So we won't keep you any longer. Do you have any final inspiring thoughts? Or they don't even have to be inspiring.
I just wanted to, I wrote this down because hang on.
Here, now you get the script out.
I know. I looked up what inspiration means. I just want to read a few things because they can say it so much better than I can. Inspiration, a sudden, brilliant, creative, or timely idea. To inspire means to excite, encourage, or breathe life into something. It comes from the Latin word to inflame, or to blow into. It's as if you're blowing air over a low flame to make it grow. Isn't that great? This other phrase I loved, which we talked about, you can go from apathy to possibility. And when one is being inspired, you can go from the bottom to the top pretty quickly. But again, I think back to my mother. It's one thing to be inspired, it's another thing to act on it and to do something about it, and not just, it's just too easy to just be inspired. It's the acting of it that I watched my mom do for her entire 86 years. She never really thought too much about it, she just acted on it. She worked at the crisis center and answered phones. Can I just tell one quick story? She answered phones. My father always said, you won't do it, you won't last. Well, there you go, she did. She lasted for about 15 years. And she had one story, well, it's kind of, I'm not gonna tell you. She answered the phone, and this guy said to her, do you have a one-way fare to China? And she went, what? Do you have a one-way fare to China? And she and my dad had just come back from a medical conference in China. She said, how did you know that my husband and I had been in China? Because it's anonymous, you don't share names. How do you know, why do you want to know if I have a one-way fare to China? He said, no, lady, do you have a hairy vagina? And honestly, this poor guy was just trying to do a crank call, and my mom, and so my mom took that story and was inspired by it, and she told that story her whole life, and and the blow to the story was, she says, well, only my hairdresser knows for sure, which totally doesn't make sense at all, but it gives you an idea who my mom was. Okay, let me just read. Okay.
Well, on that note, Sheila, thank you so much for being here this morning. Thank you for bringing us Night Shoot. It was a delight to watch. Thank you so much. Thank you for being part of our artistic advisory, for being one of our mentors, and thank you for just being you.
And I'll get the report in. I thought I did.
Yeah, get that report in.
The third and final segment of my keynote conversation with actor-director Sheila McCarthy from Maintaining Creativity for Inspiration. I'm Scott Walker, Executive Director of CSARN. Thank you for watching.